and they win the NFC South.
Go marching in, when them Bucs go marching in. Walked in that dome and took it over. When the Bucs go marching in. What's good, everybody? Let's talk some Tampa sports. 6-2 headed into the bye. How can anyone have any negativity on this beautiful victory Monday? 6-2 headed into the bye, perfect in the division, and the Bucs, 6-2, is tied for the best record through 8 weeks in Buccaneer history. That loaded Tom Brady team. Like, think about that. That loaded Tom Brady team with a really good offensive line, really good defensive line, weapons all over the place. This team that's been without Godwin, Evans, Bucky, makeshift offensive line, missing some guys in the secondary. Like, this team is tied with that team for the best record through 8 weeks in Buccaneer history. Truly was a full circle moment with Spencer Rattler, too. Last year, week 6, I went to New Orleans, watched the Bucs put up 50 in the Dome, and that was Spencer Rattler's first ever start in the NFL. A year later, we're in week 8. Bucs go to the Dome. And guess what? Spencer Rattler is officially benched by their second-round pick, Tyler Shough. Full circle moment. I hope y'all did like that reverse jinx all week long through the preview, the ops. Kept like, this is a sneaky 1-16. Like, got to be careful. They're pretty good at the Dome, which honestly, they're not lies, but yeah. What they've done at the Dome against other teams, they could not do against the Bucs defense. Not on this Sunday. What they've done against other teams in the Dome, hanging in there against Arizona, San Francisco, beating New York, hanging in there with 6-2 New England. That looks a whole lot different. That's the outlier right there, is that 23-3, which should be a lot worse, if we're being honest. We'll get to that. How about Anthony Nelson? How about Antoine Winfield Jr.? How about Todd Bowles? My goodness. What a performance on defense. And isn't it so nice to have a defense that can pick up the slack, that can carry this team when the offense doesn't show up? Last year, we had to rely on the offense. Everything had to be put on that offense due to what the defensive side of the ball was doing. With injuries, Josh Hayes starting at cornerback, KJ Britt at middle line, JJ Russell, like, the offense had to carry this team. And this year, when the offense is dealing with all of these injuries, struggling to move the football consistently over the last 2 weeks, this defense just shows up and says, we got y'all. We got y'all. 5 sacks, 4 takeaways, only 3 points given up, and those 3 points shouldn't have even happened because they came off of a whistle that wasn't a whistle. You see what I'm saying? What this defense did. 3 points. Saints only made it to the red zone 1 time all of Sunday. They made it to the red zone once, and that was in garbage time with Tyler Shough and the Buccaneers backups playing on defense at that point. And I know people are going to say, it's the Saints. Why are you it's the Saints. Who cares? I just showed you what they were doing to other teams in the Dome. Why couldn't they hold them to the red zone once and not give up a single touchdown? And the score doesn't even tell how dominant this Bucs defense was. The defense really scored 21 points, if we're being honest. Scoreboard says 7. Defense scored 21. Be for real. Offense scored 16. That's crazy. Building off that, what should have been 21 points, the refs, another week of just things I've never seen before. What are we doing? What are we doing? Todd Bowles is still waiting. In his press conference today, they were asking, did you get an update on that whistle that didn't exist? And he's like, nope, haven't heard anything. Wow. The accountability in this league for these part-time referees, they're never going to hold them accountable. At least at the rate they're going, it doesn't seem like it. Antoine Winfield Jr. should have had 2 touchdowns yesterday. The guy that we know is a playmaker, that's living up to what we know him to be, why he's making all this money back there at safety. He's scoring touchdowns defensively twice. For all the people who had the 1.5 over-under on Baker Mayfield passing touchdowns, I'm sorry. But isn't it crazy that Antoine Winfield Jr. scored 2 touchdowns? And we're going to take that away from him? We're going to take that away from Antoine Winfield Jr. All right, let's dig into the numbers a little bit. Baker Mayfield, it's not going out on a limb and saying that he's injured, but he's probably more injured than we think, just based on how the last 2 weeks have looked. He's continuing to show up on the injury report, but playing through it. 15 for 24, 152 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked 3 times. Yeah. It was just a meh day for the offense. It was not pretty. It was not fun. It was not high-flying. Was not what we've become accustomed to, for sure. Plenty of frustrating moments, especially at the goal line. My take on that, it's on multiple. It's on Josh Grizzard and it's on the offensive line. First on Josh Grizzard for if you're going to run it 4 times, do something different. Do something different. And the fact that they didn't do a single quarterback sneak in 8 attempts at the 1-yard line tells me what I already know about Baker Mayfield and his health. But then the flip side of that, like I said, the offensive line, the fact that they run it this many times and you can't push 1 yard out of all of those times until the 4th down of the second time you made it to the 1-yard line, that's a little concerning as well. Just as concerning, in my opinion, as the play calling on the 1-yard line. For the Saints, Spencer Rattler, 15 for 21. No touchdowns and a pick. Sacked 3 times. Tyler Shuck, 17 for 30. 128. A whopping 4.3 yards per attempt. 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked twice. This defense was all over the place in the Superdome. I will say, they set up Spencer Rattler for failure. I think they wanted a reason to put Tyler Shuck in this game because the fact that the game was 7-3 at halftime and Alvin Kamara had 4 carries is insane. They ran the ball 4 times. 4 times at halftime in a game that was 7-3. This was not some blowout at half. This game was close. The Bucs offense could not move the ball. The only touchdown was Anthony Nelson's crazy pick 6. And you're just making Spencer Rattler drop back. Yeah, he's going to fail. Maybe conspiracy theory-ish, but I mean, how as an NFL head coach are you allowing that? An offensive NFL head coach, how are you allowing that to happen? That's crazy. That is crazy. Set that man up for failure just for Tyler Shuck to come in the game and do absolutely nothing as well. Bucs run game did not look all that great. Sean Tucker, shout out to him for getting that touchdown. A long of 15 on the day. 12 carries, 42 yards. Rachaad White, 13 for 35. Josh Williams got in there and got some time, 4 for 11. All around, the Bucs were getting stuffed. They were getting blown up in the backfield. I think the yards before contact was 1 yard. 1 yard, which if you don't pay attention to that stat very often, that's a horrible number. That's a horrible number. So let's not get on Rachaad White. Let's not get on Sean Tucker. This offensive line had a rough going yesterday along the entire offensive line. Not just that right side where you got 2 backups. Tristan Wirfs may be his worst day as a pro. I don't know if that's an exaggeration. That was a rough showing from Tristan Wirfs. Zero doubt in my mind that he's going to bounce back. Obviously, I'm sure his knee isn't 100%. He's going to continue to be all Pro Bowl level. Zero concerns in my mind. But that did happen yesterday, which was just weird to see. Honestly, weird to see. Couple of false starts, getting beat by Chase Young. Yeah. Ben Bredesen and Graham Barton, do y'all want to swap positions? Do we want to test that out? Maybe. I think we should. Graham Barton at center. I keep hoping it's going to get better. I keep saying it's going to get better. I don't know if I'm just trying to manifest it in my head that it's going to get better. It hasn't gotten better. I don't know if they need to take a little bit off his plate, all the communications and things like that the center position involves. Move him to left guard. I don't think Ben Bredesen looked bad at center. He looked fine when he was out there first couple of weeks, so maybe they test that out. But as a whole, I'm really not worried about the offense. I think Baker's hurt. You don't have running back one. You're missing Mike. You're missing Chris. You're missing J-Mac. You're missing half your offensive line. I think it's not quite a reason to worry. We've seen this offense be successful this year. We saw what they did in Seattle against a good Seattle defense, just going toe-to-toe while being injured in that game as well. I think it might just be finally catching up to Baker Mayfield. War of attrition. This bye week is coming at a very good time. A very good time. Quick rundown on the Bucs defense before we wrap this video. Antoine Winfield Jr., 6 tackles, 1 interception. And that should be 2 right there. Servassier Dennis, 7 tackles, 1 sack, 1 TFL. Zion McCollum had 2 pass breakups. Let's see, Tyke Smith continues to have a very good year. Very good year. That's not being talked about enough, myself included. I need to talk about Tyke Smith. He's been incredible, honestly. 1 pass breakup. Levante David, 10 tackles. Jamel Dean, 6 tackles. And a forced fumble. Week by, like, I don't know why. Should I still be surprised about it? Are you guys still as surprised as I am that he continues to be playing at this level? I was going to say continuing to be this consistent, but it's not even consistency. He is playing at an elite level at the cornerback position. Once still, another week goes by, he's still number 1 in the NFL graded as a cornerback. Oh, just doing what he needs to do in the run game, making tackles, and also forcing a fumble. Yeah. Jamel Dean. Anthony Nelson, are you trying to become a full-time starter? And I know Hassan Reddick is out, but talk about taking advantage of your opportunity. If Hassan Reddick, if it's only a sprained ankle and he's going to be back after the bye, maybe the week after that, and you got 2 games because of the bye week, you got 2 games to make your mark, make your statement saying, this is what I do if you give me time. 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Wow. Shout out Nelly. Shout out. What better be the NFC Defensive Player of the Week? I thought Benjamin Morrison was okay. Of course, he did get beat late in the game by Shaheed, but missed throw by Tyler Shuck. So that didn't result in anything. Vita Vea only having 1 tackle. But they didn't run the football. I mean, they didn't run the football. Like I said, Alvin Kamara had 6 rushes the entire game. So 1 sack for Vita Vea makes sense, sitting right there in the middle. I thought Jacob Parrish was solid. He ended up getting a sack, 2 tackles for loss. Did get a little banged up with the oblique, but apparently it's just sore. He should be okay. Yeah, man. Logan Hall, Marquise Watts combined for a sack. What a day in New Orleans, and what a day to set off this bye week. No complaints from my end. Like I said, obviously we probably wanted to see the offense clicking a little bit more, but you take these circumstances into account. They've been playing amazing given these circumstances, but eventually, it's probably going to catch up to you, and you need to get some guys healthy, and I'm really hoping coming out of that bye that they do. We'll talk about what the schedule looks like coming out of the bye, coming here soon. I might do like a mid-season report card for players, trying to think of creative things to do during the bye week. Might look into trade targets because the trade deadline's coming up, so let me know what you guys might want to see down in the comment section below. Also, give me your thoughts on the game. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Go Bucs. You have a blessed one.